and welcome to Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. Now today we want to focus our attention on Sri Lanka's tour of England. As we know, the test matches are about to happen. The first test starting in Headingley on the 19th of May, and we do know that the conditions in Headingley are going to be challenging, with a lot of overcast conditions and seam and swing being the order of the day in Headingley. Now so far the Sri Lankans have done quite well in their two practice games. They played a game at Essex, they did play a game at Leicestershire, and on both occasions the Sri Lankan batting has seemed to be all right. They have come through quite well. 200s already. Dimuth Karunaratne getting 100, Dasun Shanaka surprising quite a few people with that 100. But the question here is, has the English sold a dummy to the Sri Lankans? Have they tried to use the Sri Lankans practice matches in more sunnier, batting friendly conditions, or is it what the Sri Lankans are going to get even at Headingley? My gut is that the Sri Lankans have been taken away from those seeming conditions, just lured into a false sense of security by giving them good pitches, and possibly with Anderson, Broad and the rest really looking to come hard at the Sri Lankans. But I'm hoping that the Sri Lankan batsman who has shown form will continue that way. Now what might be the Sri Lankan batting on the Sri Lankan side? Now I got a squad written out here simply because Milinda Siriwardena, one of Sri Lanka's brightest young batsmen, not exactly young, but a bright player, I should say, who's been doing well in Test cricket, One Day cricket and T20, has been struggling in England. His score so far has been 5, 8 and 0. Now, will he be persisted with at number 6, or will Sri Lanka look at another option? Will Dasun Shanaka come into the side? Will Lahiru Thirimanne, with one good knock after failing against Leicestershire in the first innings, being injured, not playing against Essex, be recalled and battered at 3? What might be Kusal Mendis's position? Because he's done well at number 3. Now, these are some questions that the Sri Lankans may have to answer. Dhammika Prasad, well, he's having a problem. He's nursing a shoulder injury, so Sri Lanka will lose their spearhead. So the likely Sri Lankan 11, because we haven't seen the off-spinner also playing so far, Dilruwan Perera. So it's very likely that Rangana Herath will be the sole spinner in the Sri Lankan lineup. So the likely side is Dimuth Karunaratne, Kaushal Silva should open, being experienced. Thirimanne, if he bats at 3, then Chandimal at 4. Then we will also have Angelo Matthews at 5. That will be the top 5. Now, will Kusal Mendis, who's a top order batsman, be thrusted in at number 6? Now that's not an easy thing if you're a top order batsman going in at number 6, because as a top order batsman you're used to starting off against the faster bowlers, possibly against a newer ball. Going in at number 6 is a completely different story. So adapting is going to be a challenge for Kusal. Mendis, who's a young player who's just finding his feet but done well so far on the short tour of England. Dasun Shanaka, will he be at 7, or will Sri Lanka take the bold step and bat him at 6 and look at greater bowling options? And well, Rangana Herath should be the sole spinner. Then Chamira, Eranga and Nuwan Pradeep should be in that 11. But I have a gut feeling that sometimes you might have Suranga Lakmal also pushing for a place. So it's an unsettled 11 as yet, because Dhammika Prasad being injured and Milinda Siriwardena being out of form seem to be a few issues, or seem to be posing Sri Lanka a few challenges. But come the test match, I believe the Sri Lankan tour selectors will know exactly what the 11 to have on the field when they play at Headingley. Now, good news for Sri Lanka is Kusal Perera being cleared by the ICC. Now, everybody will be raving about it. So am I. I'm sure all of you are doing that. But the question is, my question to people watching is, who will compensate Kusal Perera for lost time? Now, I'm not talking about money. Money could be earned. But what about the reputation? What about the loss of face? What about the mental agony? What about the stress he went through? And finally, being proved that he was unfairly pinned down. Now, what would Sri Lanka cricket do? Now, first and foremost, we need to congratulate Sri Lanka cricket for taking that course of action. Now, we have heard that the SLC did take the bold step of hiring lawyers in UK, legal firms in UK who are specialized in this area, to appear on Kusal Perera's behalf, and spending a lot of money and not knowing what might be the final result. And thankfully, Kusal came through, and we've also heard that the ICC are going to refund whatever that was spent on legal fees. Now, that's all good, but my question, my worry, my concern is the damage the heartache, the frustration that Kusal Perera went through. Now, will this situation happen to another player, irrespective from what country they come from? What would WADA say? Now, what about their testing laboratories? How serious, how responsible are they? How would the ICC react? Now, it is time that these questions be posed to the people who matter, because we should never have another scenario of a Kusal Perera, be to a Sri Lankan or be to any other player in the world, because let's not forget that their age or their lifespan is so limited. Now, if Kusal was suspended unfairly for 2 years or 3 years, it would have been very, very difficult for Kusal to come back as early as we would have expected. And now, he needs to do a lot of work to get back to England and play in those one-days and T20 games. So it's easier said than done. I know that all of us are very happy, but let's also try and understand the damage that was caused to Kusal Perera. And let's hope, as I said earlier, that such a situation will never arise in the future. Well, we also need to congratulate some of the younger cricketers that played in the under-19 interprovincial tournament. Again, SLC or Sri Lanka Cricket, as we call them, did take that bold step of organizing a provincial and a district under-19 tournament. And I do have some names that are sure to make a real impact as the days progress. Incidentally, Northwestern Province won the championship. They did beat the Southern Province in the final. Great opportunity for the younger cricketers, particularly from the outstation. Now, I want to leave with you some names that you need to write down, make a note, and just see whether these names will make any impact as the game progresses. First and foremost, Damit Silva from Malayadeva College, Kurunegala, who also captained the Northwestern side, was adjudged the player of the tournament. Now, this is a great achievement. Left-arm spinner, left-handed bat, 28 wickets and 277 runs. Great achievement from this young player. Then Navindu Nirmal, best batsman, just 442 runs in just 5 games. He's got to be special talent to come up with figures like this. And also Harin Buddhika, he was the best bowler. He was another left-arm spinner. We're worried about replacements for Rangan Herat. We seem to be having a few coming through. 27 wickets from 5 games. And mind you, both are from St. Aloysius College, Gaul. So we got a good blend, good mix of young cricketers showing their hand and putting their hands up and wanting to be counted, which is obviously very good news. And if they can progress the way they have shown talent and shown promise, I'm sure Sri Lanka cricket will be richer as the years progress. So that's it on Around the Wickets. We hope you enjoyed this segment. We'll come back again very soon with yet another program. Don't forget, just keep watching and always be in touch and be with ThePapare.com.